Well, hello everybody. It's Ronnie with Whip and Chain. I work with Maggie and Lauren to bring you beautiful crochet tutorials. Today we got a really nice one. It is the Christmas stocking. This is actually granny squares, hexagon granny squares. Once I show you how to do one, you need to make 17 of them, and then you can make this beautiful pattern. We're going to dive right into it, so come on with us with this wonderful crochet journey. Okay, to make this beautiful Christmas stocking, we're going to be making these motifs. We're going to need 17 of them. Now this is a larger stocking. If you want to go a little smaller, I used a 6mm hook. You're more than welcome to tone that down to maybe a 5.5 or even a 5 if you like, but it's totally up to you. I like big stockings personally. And so again, we're going to be making 17 of these. Now for the yarn, I have used Michael's Loops and Threads. I use personally Kelly Green. And I also used Forest. And then just white. Okay, that's just plain white, no fancy, no nothing to it. So let's dive right into how to make the motif. Now you do need to understand there's a lot of ends if you're going to be changing colors to these. So if you're not fond of weaving in ends, which some people just truly are not, I would suggest you do it as you go. But me, I did all the motifs and then I weaved it in. We had trips we had to do on the car, so I just grabbed them all and weaved them in while I was in the car, and it's amazing how fast it goes and it passes time. So let's dive into this. We're going to start with a magic circle. If you do not know how to do a magic circle or a magic ring, you can either do one of two things. Maybe Maggie can tag the 2 videos I did on the magic circles attached to this video, or you can request it, or you can do a chain 4 and slip stitch to the first stitch. Any of the ways will work fine. If you do the chain and after you slip stitch, chain 2. If you did the magic ring, or people call it magic circle, you always chain 1. You just need to, no, let me retract. If you did the chain, you need to chain 4. If you did the magic circle, you already chained 1, so you need to chain 3 more. 1 and 2 and 3. All right, that is going to count as a double crochet and a chain 1. All right, so now we're going to put another double crochet into the center and chain 1 and another double crochet and a chain 1 and another double crochet. So you're going to do this until you have 12 double crochets in there. I'll see you at the end of this. Okay. Now, just always count to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. After you do your 12th double crochet, make sure you chain 1. And then you slip stitch to the top of the chain 3. And then pull your center tight. It's going to look all wonky, but it's really okay. Now, if you're using my color scheme, I chain 1 and I cut off, tie off. Okay. And then I move to my green. You guys can make these in any colors you want. Red, green, blue, pink, purple. I would love to see your different color combinations. So now just pick any chain 1, put your hook in, just wrap the yarn over the hook, bring it through, Now chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and put another double crochet right in there. That counts as 2 double crochets, and then just chain 1 and go to the next, and you put in 2 double crochets. Chain 1, two double crochets, and this is how you do round 2. So it's just 2 double crochets in each one, chain 1, and 2 double crochets. All right. My dogs are a little crazy tonight. I apologize. Chain 1, and just keep doing that all the way around, and when you get to your last one, make sure you chain 1 before you fasten off. Okay, after you come around, like I remind you, make sure you do your chain 1. Now, me personally, when I'm doing these, I slip stitch into the double crochet, not the chain. I feel it just looks neater, but you can do it either way. Either way is correct. There's no wrong with that. Okay, and there is your second round. The third round, again, just pick a chain 1 area, drape your yarn, do not put a slip knot, and just do a chain 3 again. 1, 2, and 3, and then in that same one, put in 2 more double crochets. Chain 1, go to the next chain 1 and put in 3 double crochets. Chain 1, 3 double crochets. And chain 1. All right, I will meet you at the end of this round. Very easy motif. Okay, when you come around, again, make sure you chain 1 and then you slip stitch. And again, I like to slip stitch to the actual double crochet. Chain 1, and I'm changing colors. All right, so now whatever color you use on the outside, I would recommend using the same color to seam it, but it's not a requirement. You can do whatever you want. It is your stocking. Okay, so now the start of the last round is just a tad different. Bring the yarn around and just chain 2. Now put in 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. That chain 2 does not count as anything. Chain 1 and put in 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, and you go to your next space, and then this one you only put in 3 double crochets. Then you chain 1, and then you put in 3 double crochets. Chain 1 and 3 double crochets all in that same one. Then you chain 1, and the next one you put in 3 double crochets. Now, and then chain 1, and this is your pattern. So it's 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1 to get to the next one, then it's 3 double crochets, then chain 1, and then you 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3, and that's just a repeating pattern all the way around. Okay, and when you're done that, this is what you will end up with. So again, it's 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1, just 3 double crochets in the next, and repeat. You go all the way around, and that is how you get your hexagon. Okay, now again, remember, you need 17 of these. If you're not a fan of the ends, please do them as you go. Do them however will work for you. All right, so after you got all 17 of these done and your ends in, we're going to move over to this. Now I'm going to back you up so you guys can see what's going on here. Zoom you out because it's really important for you to understand this. Now, I put a stitch marker on top of this one because this is the top of your stocking. So they're not sewn together yet. I used a ridiculous amount of stitch markers. You guys can just stitch marker corners if you want. Do it however you want. I am very funny about making sure I don't go off on my seam count. And the reason on the last row I had you only do a chain 2 and then 3 true double crochets is when you join at the end, you're joining into that first double crochet, so it won't throw you off when you're seaming these together, because if you have to find that one where it's just a chain, it can make it look a little wonky. That is the only reason I did that. So what you're going to do is, please, when you're doing this, make sure your motifs are the good sides facing you while you're doing this, okay? So the first two, first take 3 motifs and you just join them on the sides like this. And then the center one, again, I placed a stitch marker for my top. All right. So then after you do the 3, you go underneath, and then this is how you place the next 3. It's off angle, if you notice. It's down and then over 1. All right. So this is counted as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And again, you will have your stitch marker for the top. Okay. And then the third row is the same as the first row. Okay. I'll go out more. Here's the first row. Hook them together. There's your second row. And then the third row is just like the first row. Okay. And then the fourth row is placed just like the second row. So first row 1 and 3 are the same placements. Row 2 and 4 are the same placements. That should be easy. Okay. But when you get to row 5, you don't put anything here right now. You just place one on this angle, like rows 1 and 3, put one on the outside and one on the second one in, but you don't put anything here. So it's the same as rows 1 and 3, except you don't put your third one in right there. And then, if you guessed it, the last row is like rows, rows like 2 and 4, except, again, you don't put your third one here. And yes, I know that's 16 motifs. I know that we need that 17th one, but not hooked on the here. So let's try it one more time just to make sure you guys are good. And you can always freeze this and rewind it if you need. So again, this is our top. I'm hooking these 3. Well, there's 3 motifs, but they're hooked right here. And then row 2 is catty-cornered over 1. All right. Then row 3 is just like row 1. Row 4 is like row 2. Okay, and then rows 5 and 6. 5 is just like number 1, and 6 is like row number 2, except you don't have your third ones there. All right. All right. Now, what you need to start doing is you need to turn it over, and you can do this any way that you like, any way that makes you happy, any way that's comfortable for you. So you get some of your yarn that you're going to use to sew these together. Oh, I almost forgot. Very, very important information. So, let me back up. Rows 1, 2, 3. At the bottom of the motif that's on your right of 3, right here, you go from 3 to 4. This section right here, I even marked it with an extra stitch marker. So right here, do not sew that together yet. That can't be sewn together yet. So this piece right here. Okay, so leave this, do not sew it together. There. All right, so get some yarn. I think I want a longer piece than that. There is no wrong way to start this. However you want to start it, however you're comfortable with, is really okay. So what you do is the section you're working on. I'm going to do, me personally. All right, I'm going to work on this section. So I'm going to take out some of these stitch markers. Not all of them, as you can see. And then find your corners. Okay, see your corners? Go through the top of the stitches. All right, that's the first one. Here's my next corner, right in that chain 1. See it at the top? I went through the tops of the chain 1, not through the corner. And then, so what you can do here at the end, if you make a slip knot, when you start, you go through that slip knot. And it tightens. Okay. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go through each stitch. So that was my corner. Here's my next stitch. Here's my next stitch. And I'm going to just stitch. Just like that. And then my next stitch. See? When I'm comfortable, I can take my stitch markers out as I go. But make sure you're sewing on the wrong side, and when you hook all your motifs together, make sure they're all facing the way they need to be facing. It could be frustrating to sew a project like this together and then have one upside down, which is very noticeable. And just take your time doing this because you work so hard on the motifs and weaving in your ends. You want this to look good too. So you're just going to keep sewing just like that all your seams. Okay, keep your stitch marker at the top so you know where the top is, and remember, do not sew that one that we talked about together right here. And I will see you at the end of the sewing. Are you ready to get this beautiful stocking all set up? I'm throwing out some stitch markers for me to easily grab because I'll be using a bunch of them. All right, so here is our top with my stitch marker. I'm going to turn it around. Now right on the seam between the second and third one, we're going to just fold that. Okay. And then if we turn it around to look at us, just like that, then we'll fold the other side over. And it's just like a little puzzle. So we're going to stitch mark just the first 3 rows, okay? Stitch mark them in the corners if that's what you feel comfortable with, but since I'm going to be turning this inside out, I want to make sure that I'm getting everything in the place that it truly needs to be. That way I don't have problems. The top part is the pretty easy part, I gotta tell you. It drives me nuts when my stitch markers are all in 15 different places with their colors. There we go. All right, so this is row 1, row 2, and row 3. One, 2, and 3. So make sure you stitch mark the 3 rows. And again, mark them as you are comfortable. Now, if we turn it around, as you can see, camera, here's our heel. If we take this, there we go. Here's our heel. So if we take this part here, we fold it up underneath. Then we should have a seam right here. Okay. Okay. Now just flip it over again. Some of these pieces are going to start falling into place. There we go, and get some of these colors. There we go. So it's obvious these two go together. And this. And here. Now this piece will go, if you're watching. Okay. All right. Now this one should go right here. Okay. So then this point is going to meet right up here. This one. And this one. Okay. So then you got these two. Okay. Now with the foot, there's that. And there's that. And then I like to mark the stitch. here. There. And then we have our divot. So you fold it in half with the point down, just like that. And it's going to fit snug in here. Now see where I put these stitch markers? These are going to go here, but I didn't want to do anything until I had this attached. So here's the corner to this one. Just like that. Okay. This one goes just like that. And this one goes just. So now, if you pull this apart a little bit, you can, there you go. Now, I can slowly start taking them off, so I know I'm not getting myself all confused. Over here. And one for the corner. And we'll finish right here. There we go. And then this point. Oh, I wasn't at a point. What did I do? And this point goes here. Always match up your points. And this will lay flat, just like that. And there, you got your stocking. So I do recommend that you turn it inside out to do the seaming. Just a suggestion. You do what's right for you. And then we're going to come back after it's all sewn, and I'm going to show you something cute with the top. All right, I will see you at the end of this one. All right, here she is, all sewn up. Beautiful. I did not block her. I don't know if I'm going to, but I'm leaning towards the yes part right now, but we'll see. So you can choose to block this or not block it, but do understand the hand sewing on this, it all together takes time. So please don't rush it. When you don't rush it, look how beautiful this turns out. So I want to add a little frill to the top of my stocking. So what I did is I want to line this up so this is even up here, okay? And I took my stitch marker that I had at the top, flatten this out so it would be lined up, and I took my stitch marker and I marked right there, okay? So now what I'm doing is for me, you can use regular yarn, but I am using Yarn B for the moment. It's just, it's like fake fur. But I'm going to use this to put around the top of my stocking. If I can find my end. All right. But I want to add a little pom-pom to the end. It's just something I want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weave the yarn right through that. So when I get to the point I want to use my pom-pom, it's already on the yarn. And I did get a request to do a tutorial on how to add bells and beads and such to crochet projects. So I will be working on that video this week, and hopefully it will be done this coming weekend, which is the weekend before Thanksgiving of 23. And yeah, that will be done. So you can take regular yarn or you can take some fuzzy yarn, whatever you want. And all we're going to do is for here, I'm going to make my slip stitch, which is not the easiest with this yarn, but that's okay. Now I'm going to flip. I want to start a little before my stitch marker here. All right. Just pick a stitch to go in and add your stitch marker. Add your stitch marker. Add your crochet hook. Now, let me move this over to this side. So I'm working in a... This is such a fun time of year with all the different fuzzy stuff and pom-poms and hats that you can work on. All right. So now I bring it through. I chain one. All right. Now I'm going to try to hide in some of that tail. And I have to make a single crochet back into that same stitch. Now, if you're working with the fuzzy yarn, try not to go too tight. Just let it be loose, and just each stitch, just let it be loose. And then when you're in the chain one spaces, just go under it and put in a single crochet. And then you go into each stitch and put in one single crochet. But if you're working, again, if you're working with this fuzzy yarn, don't fight it. Just do real loose, and it works out really nice. It's when you fight it and try to get it tight and all that stuff, it just doesn't want to cooperate with you. And you don't have to be perfect. You're just putting on a little extra onto your stocking. But again, if you want, you can use just regular yarn. and do a smooth round. That's it. It's not bad at all. I couldn't find a center to this yarn, so I had to pull a lot of it out to get to it. Hold on a minute. I apologize. I had a big knot in there and I had to cut it out and it was a hot mess. But anyway. So now we're just going around. I'm in that space, so I'll just do a single crochet around it. And I can probably cut off my yarn tail right there. Okay, I am at my stitch marker. So I'm going to take my stitch marker out. I'm going to move up my pom-pom. I have to get it over. Something so easy was supposed to be, but there we go. There is my pom-pom. Okay. So I pulled the pom-pom as close as I can to my hook. Find my next stitch that I'm going into. Okay. Go in and you make a single crochet. All right, so now your pom-pom's locked in. But now I'm going to chain probably 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then I'm going to come down again back in that same space and do another single crochet. And what I did is I gave it a little bit of a hook. So now we're going to just single crochet all the way around it. And I'll meet you at the end. Okay. There she is. And then you can slowly go around this and just fluff out the fur a little bit. But it will work its way out through the stitches. So there's your hanging. You'll have your little ball there. And then the rest of your stocking. And I did make a decision. I think these would look very sharp if you did block it. I do have videos on blocking. If you need help with that, we would be more than happy to link them in the comments below. If you need to see them, let us know. And I also want to let you know if there's any videos that you can't find and you need help learning how to do a certain stitch or a certain pattern, we're here. Just request it. Come over to our Facebook group, join us, and request it, and I will get the video out and help you. And if the video doesn't work for you, we can FaceTime through Facebook. We'll do what we need to do to get you to understand it and help you along with your wonderful crochet journey. And I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I had a lot of fun with this one. Love the holidays. Till next time, happy crocheting, and help us out. Can you please hit that like and subscribe button at the bottom? We would greatly appreciate it. And again, we're on Facebook. Hope you come visit us. Whip and Chain. Bye-bye.